Loud. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Debra, and this is She Roars Boldly. Today we have Jen, and she's going to be telling us all about who she is, what she does, and I know you're just going to enjoy it because you always enjoy all my guests, right? I knew it. Jen, why don't you tell them a little about yourself?
Yeah, that will probably reveal itself as we go. But the short down and dirty is that I am a physical therapist, and I've been doing that for just a minute or two or 35 years. And I'm very passionate about pain science and helping people understand how pain works and all of the things that we can do to help people overcome pain. I also incorporate lifestyle medicine and mental fitness. And my newest excitement is I am merging pain science with improv comedy as yet one more strategy for pain.
You didn't tell me about that.
Didn't talk
I
about
want to
that
know
at the
all about
conference.
that. I'm into, well, I'm actually got a degree in acting and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I can't tell a joke, but I'm funny, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Kind of
Well, in
improv. I'm a
improv,
definite improver, but tell me
yeah.
about that. That is so cool.
I am super excited about this. And it literally just came to me on a walk because part of the beauty of the work I do in pain is that we have so many research based ways to help people. Three of those happen to be movement, which is super important, social connections is super important, as well as laughter. And I thought, well, improv really helped me emerge from a contentious divorce, and it also has really helped me with my public speaking and even in personal interactions. And I thought, why not merge them all? And so I've got an hour workshop. I know, I love your face. I am that excited too, Deborah. So
I'm,
it's
how
an
did we
hour
miss
long.
this in our conversation? I love this.
Well, because I was very focused there on doing that talk. And so, what I'm actually doing is in a couple of weeks, I'm going to a chiropractor's office and we're going to invite people. And I will be doing an overview of how pain is like a cookie, which is what I did in Chicago where we met. And then we're also going to be integrating some of this improv for pain. I also have, in addition to the workshop, I have a 6 week series where every week we're doing a different pain science story with a different theme. And then the improv games will complement the theme of the story. So they're getting more and more information and more fun. Hopefully, their pain and their nervous system is calming, calming, calming.
I know I love improv. It's just so much fun. I know people are afraid of it, but they really shouldn't be because it's improv. There's no rules.
What people don't realize is that every conversation you have is improv,
It is. We're
right? When your
improving
kid,
right now.
we are improving right now. Yeah. Well, we don't really have any structure. We could pick a game or two and we could play an improv game or two for your audience.
I was just going to suggest that actually.
Love that. All right. So let's think. Are you familiar with first word, last word? I like that one. There's two that come to mind that are easy.
Actually, it's been a long time.
Not a problem. So what we'll do is somebody will start with a sentence, and whatever the last word of the sentence
The
is,
next person starts.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So do
coming
we
back.
want to, let's have you pick a relationship that we have, and I'll pick a location.
Um, let's see. You're a old friend from high school.
We are old friends from high school. Okay, great. And we are at a 7-Eleven gas stop driving out to Seattle.
Okay.
And what's your favorite letter of the alphabet?
R.
R. Would you like to start or would you like me to start?
You can start.
Okay. Ready to go?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared about driving that far.
Okay. We're going to take the last word go, and that
Go.
will
Okay.
become your first word.
Go. No, I'm not ready to go.
Go, 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 go. This is all you've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. It's time.
Time for what?
What? This is the trip we've been planning since high school.
Well, back in high school, I was a whole different person. I was much more free.
Freedom. That is what the road offers us, Deborah.
Well, Deborah is not really getting into this right now, okay?
Okay, okay, now you're doing that thing where you talk in third person.
A person is allowed to talk any way they want.
Want. What I want is to get on this road trip.
Well, hey, do you remember trip? Remember that trip we went on in high school? It wasn't real long like this, but it was really fun.
Fun. I do remember that trip. It was so much fun. And do you remember that weird guy when we stopped at Denny's and we slept in the Denny's?
Oh, Denny's. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was very interesting. Let's just put it that way.
That is certainly one way to put it. Yeah, let's just stick with interesting.
Interesting is about all I can come up with if I'm being kind of polite.
And scene. All right, see, that was fun. And
That
so
was really
that's what I'm
fun.
doing is getting people out of their head, helping their nervous system find a different place of safety so that they're not experiencing those pain symptoms as much. So it's super fun, super exciting. Had a lot of fun doing
Yeah,
it.
I totally forgot the internet didn't want to work today.
Right, exactly. Right. See, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
See? You know, what got you into this? What you do and the therapy and everything. What
Yeah,
happened?
so
Usually something happens to us that causes us to have a passion for something.
yes, that is often the case, and it is not the case for me, which is
Oh,
very interesting. I'm the youngest of 9 children, and I have two siblings who are physical therapists, and my other sister was a nurse. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went to college. And so I thought, well, I'll get my PT degree, and then I wanted to really get into corporate fitness management. But then I fell in love with PT, and here I am 35 years later, still loving PT. Yeah.
okay. You just said you went to get PT, but you were going to go into corporate. How does
Corporate
that math?
fitness, corporate fitness management. So my original
Okay.
plan was to get my physical therapy degree and then get my athletic training degree and
Oh.
then go into corporate fitness management.
Well, I never heard of corporate fitness management.
Well, about 30, 35 years ago. And there are more and more companies that have in-house wellness programs. And some of them, it's, just having a gym, but then others will bring in people that talk about nutrition. And there was one company in
Oh,
DC. I had gone in and I did a series of 3 or 4 different health and wellness topics. And so I love that when the corporations care enough about their employees to bring in
yes.
health and wellness. And honestly, it helps the company too.
It really does, because if you got happy workers, you got happy workers, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And now we can bring in improv to make some happy workers too.
That's a real thought. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so you decide basically you got that thing inside yourself to help other people.
Yes. That
That's what I'm
is.
getting from you, that you got that really strong motivation. Have you
I
always been like that, or did
I have
something
always
happen?
been someone who likes to help people. Yes. And I like to say that I want my clients to fire me, not because they don't like me, but I want them to fire me because they have the tools and the strategies and they don't necessarily need the one-on-one help anymore. And I'm always here if they need it. And I recently had a client, she sent me a story. She said something had happened to her neck, and then she was about to call me for an appointment, and then she remembered some of the things we had done previously, and she was able to get rid of her symptoms all on her own. Now, that's not so great for my bank account, but it is
No.
certainly good for my mission of helping to reduce the number of people that are really suffering with pain in our world.
I, I love that. And I know I think I mentioned it when we were talking before, prior to this, that I've had some not so happy physical therapy.
Unfortunately, that is
Yeah.
all
Where
too common.
I think they pushed it too far and it,
Yes.
I
So
got
have
more
these.
pain from it than I had before.
Yes, I think I may have told you about this one client in response to that story. She had been diagnosed with chronic pain at the age of 7, and I don't know if she was a teenager or her early 20s. She went into physical therapy. Yes, very sad. And I started working with her in her 40s. She's doing pretty good. Anyway, so she went into physical therapy walking on her own, but they pushed her so hard that she had to leave in a wheelchair. That's not acceptable. Not acceptable.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Um, Mine was my rotator cuff, and I just figured out that if somebody's screaming in physical therapy, it's their rotator cuff. Because you scream, you cry, and it was all totally unnecessary. And I'm not putting physical therapists down. I'm just saying what happened to me, and I know a couple other people with the rotator cuff thing, is they were pushing your arm, but you couldn't move. It was frozen, and they were trying to get that unlocked, and it didn't work.
It
It
didn't
just
work. It
horrible
actually,
pain, horrible pain.
exactly.
And I had to stop to go on a cruise. And I was said, I'm going on the cruise. I already put it off from when I broke my rotator cuff. We're going. And so no physical therapy, went in the hot tub and has started to move. And then my brother-in-law told me, oh, yeah, I had that. Just put hot water really hard on your shoulder and walk your hand up the side of the shower. And sure enough, full motion. And I know people that have gone through with rotator cuffs and all that pain and still can't lift more than like that.
You're right, because we've just given too much input into the system. And then what happens is that their nervous system actually gets more protective. And if it's more protective, then you have more pain. Do you remember when we talked about the leaf versus the brick? Your nervous system is like an amazing high tech alarm system. And we definitely want our house alarm to go off if somebody throws a brick through the window.
Right.
But what if
Yeah,
somebody messes with the sensitivity of the alarm and a leaf hits your window and your house alarm goes off?
I
Your
don't know.
house is okay, isn't it?
Of
It's
course,
the sensitivity of the alarm.
right.
So that is the work that I'm doing. And when we are pushing people to and beyond that pain point, their system is saying, we need to do something different. And if we don't, then you end up with more pain that takes longer and longer to recover from.
So basically, you're saying our own bodies, we got to listen to them.
I'm going to just shift out body for nervous system because it's actually our nervous system that creates the experience in our body. And so if there are too many threatening inputs, then your nervous system is going to protect you. It may be with pain, it may be with brain fog, it may be with depression, it may be with fibromyalgia. So, all of these different things are a nervous system that is highly, highly sensitized. And so, the work is to help them figure out what's going to work for them to bring it back down.
That's fascinating.
Thank you.
Okay. See, I'm learning a lot today. I hope
Yeah,
everybody else out there is too.
I hope so.
Wow, yeah. You know, and it's another, I'm tracking off here, but when you mentioned fibromyalgia, I can't say it, but yeah. Um, and there's so many of those diseases and situations that doctors dismiss for so many years, and probably some still do. Like, it's all in your head, honey.
Okay. So I
I know I
one
hit a
message.
spot.
I've yes, you did. I have a very, very, very strong message for your audience. All pain is real. Scientists have never, ever, ever scanned fake pain. The other side of that, though, is pain and tissue damage do not go together. Sometimes they do, but they're not synonyms. So, people with fibromyalgia, their pain is very real. And often their scans look beautiful. But that's
Mhm.
because we cannot diagnose pain based on what a scan shows us, because pain is so much more complex. Pain is that nervous system doing its job too well. Think
Oh,
about this for a
wow.
moment. If you stepped on a rusty nail with a bare foot walking across the street, would you want to know that you've stepped on a rusty nail?
Yeah.
Right. Now let's just imagine that you are now walking across the street, same exact angles. You step on a nail again, but out of the corner of your eye, there's a bus coming at you. Does it benefit you to feel the pain in your foot?
No,
It
you want to
doesn't.
run.
Correct. Because your brain has to decide what's the bigger threat, the bus or the nail. So we're going to shut that down so that you can run and get out of the way of the bus. Then you get to the other side of the street. Then you'll feel your foot because now your brain and nervous system want you to take care of that.
That makes so much sense.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah. Hey, this is very educational.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I also want to say out there to the women that if something is not right, they need to figure it out, get help. But too many, and I've actually had women say this to me, oh, but my doctor said it was nothing. I'm like, well, if you're still hurting or if you're not physically feeling well, there's something wrong. Find a doctor who will listen to you if you can't. For so long we think doctors know it all, and they don't. They really
Correct.
don't. Who
And
could? Look at medical. Who could learn all that?
it's very complicated, and I'm still learning a ton about pain, even though I've been
There's
doing
so
this for
much.
10 or 12. Exactly. And so, for people that have that experience, right, something is going on and they are not feeling at their best, the best advice I could give, I don't like to give advice, but is to advocate for themselves. And if your doctor or your provider is not listening to you and not guiding you, find a new provider. Talk to your friends who see who it's going to be. And if you are having pain, whether it's a little or a lot, your tissues might be just fine, your bones, muscles, and joints. That doesn't mean there's nothing that we can't address. We can still look at different knowledge is really important. A lot of
Mhm.
times people end up avoiding movement, and when we don't move, that actually can make pain worse. So we can
Yeah.
look at so many different ways to create safety in their nervous system. Then they start feeling better, moving more, getting their life back, and then firing me because that's the goal.
Yeah, you like to be fired. I
I
I
do.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I know. It's just so often I really hate that we get dismissed. And then we go
I
years without ever finding ways of treating what's happening to us.
Correct. And that really gets me too when people get dismissed. So, from the provider side, because you don't know how to help that person in front of you, does not mean they are making it up. It means that you don't know. And let's get out of our
Let's
ego,
find
put our
out.
ego
Find
aside
somebody.
and
Yeah.
help them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
what we often do is we give them a label and another label and another label. And these labels, we actually have research. The more labels you get, the more tests and scans you get, the more pain you have because your system isn't actually learning what it needs or getting what it needs to calm down.
Yeah, and I know I probably told you about the cancer, but I don't know if I told you about, did I tell you about the allergies?
I don't know about the allergies.
Okay, yeah. Not only did they dismiss the cancer, and I had to go through three doctors to get it diagnosed, but I had allergies, and they would make me have trouble walking.
Wow,
It actually gave me joint pain.
I believe it.
And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I went to all kinds of therapy, all kinds of doctors. And then a friend of mine said, well, there's this holistic doctor down the road. You want to try that? So I drove an hour down the road, and for some reason, my insurance covered it.
Nice.
I can't believe it to this day. So I went in and I was talking to him about the pain and stuff. He did some to relieve it. He did some of the acupuncture, which actually did help, and meditation while I was doing the acupuncture, which helped me control the pain. And then he said, I want you to see my wife. And this was in the middle of Podunk, nowhere. But she had been a famous um, with allergies. I don't know
Yeah.
what you call that doctor, but with allergies.
Yeah.
And from California, and they decided to move into the country. And people flew in to meet with her. So
Wow.
she goes, let's test for allergies and see if it's an allergy. And it turned out I was allergic to the glucose, which is what they put in when they put the shots in. It's got glucose. I was allergic to that. They test that first. So she had to not use the glucose, use the water. It turned out I was allergic to so many things.
Wait a minute. This is fascinating. So the glucose that's part or the adjuvant with the allergy med for your
Yeah. And
allergy
I was
shot.
allergic to it.
Wow.
But
Okay,
she
well, see,
tested first for that. I don't think all doctors do.
I've never even heard of that. That is extraordinary. I'm so glad you found her.
Yeah, I just was a mess. And two of the biggest things were one of the biggest things was corn dust. And I was living in corn dust heaven in Illinois and in town, and the trucks would come by and the corn dust would come. The other thing is I'm allergic to all four chemical bases.
Wow.
I know I'm weird. I'm all for. And so the chemical trucks coming through in the spring, the dust trucks coming through in the fall had me so bad that I couldn't walk. And he said, well, I'm really shocked that the other doctor didn't tell. 'Cause I told what hospital I was going to, which was Champaign-Urbana. And he goes, well, I know the head of that department knows that allergies can cause physical stress and not being able to walk. I said, well, I didn't have him. I had his assistant. He goes,
Mm.
you would have found this out earlier then. Sure enough, and believe it or not, she doesn't give shots. She gives powder, and you take a little tip of this powder, you take it, and it was gone.
Once, or you had to take it repeatedly?
Yeah. It
Oh,
just, well, I moved out of the country then. It was good, but it was just a little thing,
but
just a
you
little
only had to do
drop.
it once? The powder once?
Well, no, I did it while I lived there, particularly during the bad seasons.
Okay.
But it was like she had this special thing she did, and the pain
Wow.
went. I could walk again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, there is a lot of knowledge out there
So
that we
much.
don't
And
have, right? And to me, it's can we get curious instead of getting critical, right? You don't fit my toolbox. You're making this up. I don't have a solution for you. What can we figure out together to get you a
yeah.
solution? Yeah,
Or who can I maybe refer you to that might have a different idea than I do or a different
absolutely.
expertise,
Yes.
particularly if you're going to an MD, because they have, oh goodness, I can't even imagine. They just study all this stuff. And who can keep all that knowledge? Plus, they probably don't even study everything and new breakthroughs every single day. And even if you try to catch up, it's got to be enormous.
They don't have an easy job and they only get 10 minutes with us, right? So they are overwhelmed and burnt out. So it's not, I don't, it's not an
They're,
issue
they're
of
no,
blame.
they're
It's
caring people. They just
absolutely, yeah.
sometimes they get helpless, because there's so much crazy stuff out there.
Burnout is a real thing, even in medical providers for sure.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to be very stressful.
yeah. I'm so glad though that you found a good provider and you mentioned acupuncture and meditation. Those are two more of the science backed ways that we can help people with pain. So it's out there. We just have
It
to get it
works.
out there better.
And folks, just, if you're scared of needles, I am too, it doesn't hurt at all. You
Can
don't,
I tell you a needle story? This just happened.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I know this family, and they have two elementary school boys. And every year it is a big, big to do for them to get their shots, blood work, COVID, flu, whatever it is. And I usually say, hey, after the shots, you have a year to try and prepare them. So this year they decided, okay, boy number one, here are your options. One of them included learning pain science from me. And he said, no, I'm not doing anything. The only thing he agreed to was to pretend like to inject an orange with a needle, just to like see that experience.
Yeah.
Boy number two, here are your options, including doing a pain science session with me. And he said yes to the pain science and a couple other things. And he also injected the orange. Now remember, every time these boys have gone to the doctor, tears, crying, thrashing, whatever it might be. So the first boy, he went. It was a very challenging experience for the parent and the child. Took him hours and hours and hours and hours to recover from the needle. Boy number two, his parent is looking at him and says, look in my eyes. We talked about remembering what we had talked about and tell me what color my eyes are. And suddenly the little guy says, is it over yet? And the parent says, yep, it's all done. No tears. He was a little nervous. We would expect that. But last year he cried and strangled and ruggled. And this year, that is how powerful knowledge and strategies are.
And also, I think I'm seeing it's also our minds. I
Sure.
think sometimes we anticipate so much that it's so much worse in our minds than anything it would have been.
The fear of pain is worse than the pain
It's
itself.
real. It's real.
It is real, and the deal with the education. So the stories that I tell, the stories I told him, we have brain scan studies. The brain calms down when it learns and understands, and that is
That
a big piece for him.
that is, it's really, really true. If
It
you can
really
calm
is.
that brain down, if it's
Yeah,
been.
it's no different than if you or I suddenly somebody told us we had to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. That wouldn't go very well, right? Because we don't have the knowledge and we don't have the experience. We
Right.
are asking people to navigate significant debilitating pain when they don't understand what's going on and they don't have the strategies to mitigate it.
Wow. And I still think one of the best things you do is you acknowledge that pain.
Yes.
I just can't say enough. I've seen so many people just hopeless and helpless because people would not acknowledge their pain.
Yes. And even the little guy who took hours and hours and hours and hours to recover, his pain was real. There was no real threat to his system, but what he felt was real.
Yeah, and I think it's everybody saying, "Oh, it's nothing. I don't know why you're getting so upset about that. You're not really feeling that." And they do it to the little guys, but they do it to each other too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And
I think
even,
that,
if you pretend you've got a needle, and you're 2 inches away and you go, yow! And the question is, did it hurt? Was that real pain? It
yeah.
was real
Well,
pain
yes, but
because
yeah.
the brain perceived that threat. It's no different than, have you ever known anybody who's had lice?
Oh gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've get taken it out of kids' heads. I don't get
And
it for some reason,
oh, well,
but
that's
I take it
good.
out. I took out of so many kids' heads.
But so often when you tell somebody your kids have lice or you have lice or whatever it is, right. But you don't have lice, but that's your nervous system responding.
Yes,
Exactly.
just thinking about it makes
Right?
me.
Thank you for proving the point of how powerful thoughts and fears and experiences are. Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
itching now.
I believe it. But you don't have lice. We know that. But
And
that's
having,
why the
yeah,
needle, even if it hasn't touched you and you say yow, that's real pain, but there's no
right,
tissue damage.
right. Yeah, the lights now.
I'm sorry. I
No,
I
it's
will
all
come
right.
up with a different
I'll get over
example.
it.
That's so funny.
But I did take a lot of showers with the lice stuff, just make sure I didn't, because I was
Uh,
sitting here cleaning hair and their friends would come over and I do all their friends because, it went through the school.
oh my gosh, that I yeah, I we went through it
That's
twice
a
with
whole
my
nother
kids.
problem.
That is a whole nother problem, yes. But what I'm curious about with your listeners, it'd be so cool if they sent you a quick little message saying, "Oh my gosh, my head itched too. Oh my gosh, my head
That
itched too."
would.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I really I totally like that you're bringing out that it's not all in our minds.
It's
And
not.
I know I'm pushing this point because I talked to too many women that really believe that really believe that just because a doctor said there's nothing wrong and they give up. And like I said, I would have died from cancer. If
What they
you
can
know your body's not right, whether it's pain or it's just the way it's acting or weird fluid coming out of you or whatever, mine was just discharge and not being able to sing.
we
But
also
what's
want to
wrong?
keep in mind that, you know, their tissues might be fine. There might be nothing wrong with their tissues, yet their experience is still real and worth pursuing. And
Right.
that's what's so important. And you're right, sometimes there's really odd rare diagnoses. I know a guy, I can't remember where he lives, but he just got diagnosed with a cancer that literally only, I think, 18 people in the world have.
So
So,
nobody really knows about it.
right. And so I'm sure he's gone through quite a journey before getting that diagnosis, right? People didn't dismiss him. They kept getting curious, curious, curious. How do we help
Yeah.
you? There's the other side of that too. Your symptoms are real, but what can we introduce? What knowledge, what tools, what movements, what activities, what sleep, etc., to calm your system down so that you're no longer experiencing those symptoms? He is an extreme, right?
Right.
One in whatever it is, 500 million people. I can't remember what it was. But the other thing is true is that we still have to be listening and getting curious with people and helping them find strategies.
Yeah, I just want all the women out there, if you know something's wrong or something feels off, find out some answers.
Find
Get
your
in touch
provider
with
who will
her. She'll
listen.
probably know if you got some pain and things.
I
Yeah.
would be
She's going to be
happy to
putting all
speak with
those in
you.
the call notes
Yeah,
and you can get in touch with her and have a conversation. I'm sure she can help you.
I would
Right?
be happy to have a chat with you 100%. Yes.
Yeah,
Because
that's
my
why
mission is pain is not a life sentence.
I love that.
Doesn't have to be this
Can
way.
we, can we get that on a coffee cup?
Ooh, maybe, maybe. There we go.
Pain's not a life sentence.
Pain is not a life sentence. I have pencils. I had mechanical pencils at the conference that said pain is not a life sentence.
There we go.
Yep,
I
yep,
love it.
yeah.
Okay, but believe it or not, we're down to the last 5 minutes. So you want to explain exactly what you do, and you can verbally give out the thing, your how to reach you. But again, we will put it in the call notes. So
Excellent. Yes,
um,
I'd be
just
happy
in
to.
case you don't see the call notes because you're in another country, so
Right,
you can
exactly.
give them that information.
All right. Well, I do one-on-one physical therapy. I am licensed in the state of Virginia and Washington, D.C. And for those who are outside of that area, I even have some international clients. I do pain coaching. There's a lot of similarity and crossover, and we make good changes whether you are in front of me or we are on a Zoom call. I am also doing these groups. I will be doing virtual and in person for the Improv for Pain. Those will be small groups, so I'm super excited about that. If you know anyone who wants to bring the hour workshop into your workspace or your church or whatever, let's be in touch about that. And then I also teach pain neuroscience education and lifestyle medicine through a company called Evidence in Motion. And so I speak, I teach, I treat, and I try and help people become painless for life. My website is jenuschold.com. My name, JENUSCHOLD.com. And in the links, I have a free gift. It's a mini set of cards that give you tangible ideas of how you can start your own journey to become painless for life.
I love it. And I always have one question I ask everybody. What does she roars boldly mean to you?
She roars boldly means stepping into yourself. I spent decades in a marriage where my voice was squashed and I lived, put myself under a bushel basket. So she roars boldly is stepping into myself and letting my true self be present and part of the world because I squashed my light for too many decades. It's time to let it shine bright.
I love that. Really, really good. Well, I want to thank you for showing up, and we may have you come back and do some more exercises. I like that.
We can do that. That'd be awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
somebody took me on a beach once. I loved it. I
Oh,
was so
that's fun.
relaxed when I was done.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
cool.
we can have like a little therapy session with different kinds of therapies that we can help each other with. That'd be
That's a
fun.
fun idea. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
really fun
I think that
idea.
would be a really great idea.
Cool.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for showing up, and everybody just have a wonderful week. And thank you for tuning in and share this with someone because you never know who you're going to help. So, love you all. See you next week.